Okay. What is your full name?
Lauren Doan,
Where are you from?
Royal Oak, Michigan.
How old were you on September 11th, 2001?
55.
What do you recall about life before the 9/11 attacks?
Well, it wasn't as hectic now, and people didn't have to, weren't so on edge about terrorist attacks.
Was it any different then and now by traveling on a plane or airport security?
Yeah, the airport security is a lot different now as compared to the way it used to be. Before, you could almost, once you had your boarding pass, you could walk right through. Now, once you get your boarding pass, you've got to go through several different stations with your passport, and you have to go through electric, scanners,
Yeah.
and some of them have the metal detector that once you go through, if you beep, they'll do that.
Yeah.
We just came home through Calgary, Alberta, and it took us 2.5 hours to get through because of all the extra security. So,
Wow. Did you ever visit any of the locations of the 9/11 attacks before or after?
after the crash of Flight 93, I went to that site. We saw where the plane crashed. At that spot, they have a rock, and nobody can go out to that rock but the family. They do have a big wall with all the names of all the family members, or all the people that died in that flight. So you can see that there.
That's cool. How did you find out about the attacks?
Well, I was working in the Southfield Police Department, and I was in the sergeant's office as a sergeant, and I got a call from my wife who asked me if I had seen or heard what was going on. Of course, I hadn't, and she told me, and I went up to the lieutenant's office, and they had a television, and they had the whole thing on the television, and I got up there in time to see the second plane hit the building, and so we went from there.
What was it like to be a police officer during the attacks and after?
Well, I was a supervisor. I had a team of 5 guys, and it was my responsibility to go out, and actually there was a couple more teams working. So I had to go out and meet them all and advise them to make sure they knew what was happening. And we had to come back into the station and get a little heavier firepower because we didn't know what was happening. We didn't know whether the U.S. was under attack, larger than the planes hitting the building. We just didn't know. So we tried to prepare ourselves the best we could for that.
What is your most vivid memory about that day?
Well, it was watching the television, seeing the people that were in New York and listening to what was happening. And then I guess the worst part was watching the buildings crumble down and all the people that were killed.
Were you personally connected with anyone in the towers, the Pentagon, or the planes?
No, I wasn't.
What did you think of the government's reactions to the attacks in the days and months after the attack?
Well, I was glad to see that they were going to do something, that they just weren't going to sit back and, negotiate or something like they probably would now. I think George Bush jumped on as quick as he could, and with the information he was given, I think he did the right thing.
Yeah. Well, thank you for your time and the interview.
Okay.